Hello, everyone. I'm Ryan McNeil, the president of Stonewater Homes and the host of the Builder by Day podcast, where we sit down with a range of guests from industry experts and entrepreneurs to community leaders and visionaries. Today, I'd like to share the story of Stonewater Homes. We build homes of all shapes and sizes and have become a trusted name in the new construction industry. I'd like to start today by recognizing that this is the first episode that we have filmed from our new studio location located here in our office. The idea of this location and the idea of this set was to build for lack of a better term, a homey feel, something that feels like a conversation being had at a fireside chat in a living room or cozy rec room. Now I'd like to give you a bit of a backstory and a brief history of Stonewater Homes and how everything got started. Stonewater Homes was founded in 2006. It was originally supposed to be a bit of a side business or part-time gig, if you will. It was complementary to the business I was in. I was a real estate agent. I was buying and selling properties and helping other folks buy and sell properties. But I was very much interested in new construction. It was the thing I was most interested in. Stonewater Homes is what we would refer to as a design and build custom home builder. Not all home builders are design and build home builders. Of course, not all home builders are custom home builders. We've built hundreds of homes. We have built homes that have quite frankly ranged in price from under $200,000 to well over $2 million and everywhere in between. Every home we build is a Stonewater home. And like any home builder, we have our ways of doing things. There's always some customization from our customer's perspective. The final finished product will ultimately be what the customer wanted, and it will look like what the customer wanted. But of course, there will be commonalities among and across all of the homes that we build. The most common question that we get is a question that cannot be answered in short form. And that is, how much does it cost to build it? So we will get this question, quite frankly, daily. Folks will contact us via email or phone, and the question will be something along the lines of, how much does it cost to build a two-story home? What is the cost per square foot of a home these days? How much does it cost to build this specific home? So folks will often contact us and refer to one of our home plans that we've built in the past. And a very common question that we will get is, how much does it cost to build the Leland home plan, for instance? And I understand from the customer's perspective that seems like a pretty reasonable question to ask, but the answer is always going to be, it depends. It ultimately depends on so many factors that, quite frankly, it's just a long conversation. We're going to fast forward to the folks who asked the question about how does the process work? So this is the most popular question that we get from folks who have decided that they want to move forward and they don't know what the next step is. So step one of the process is a conversation, usually via phone. Although the inquiry may come in via email, most folks nowadays like to send an email to sort of introduce themselves and ask that first question. But we will always respond to them with, we'd be happy to answer that question. Here's our office phone number. Please give us a call and we will be happy to have the conversation. We will oftentimes follow that up, or at least request or suggest that we follow that up with an in-person meeting. Quite often, folks will tell us, I'll hang up from a phone call from having a conversation with somebody about building a new home, and they'll end that phone call by saying, thanks very much for taking the call. You're actually the only builder who called us back, or the only one who went into this level of detail. I normally go one step further with that, as does my staff, and we would like you to come in. We are happy to take the time to meet in person with our potential customers at our office, in our boardroom, sitting down, answering any questions that you'd like to ask to help you better understand how this process works. Because we understand that it's a daunting process. And if you've never built a home before, which most people have not, then how would you know how the process goes? But it's a long conversation. But step two of the process, after we get beyond our fact-finding mission and folks decide we'd like to take the next step and explore this further. At this point, they haven't necessarily decided they're building for sure, but this would be phase two, which we refer to as the design process. 99% of the folks that go into the design process continue onward and build a home with us. In that design process, this is where we get down to the details of the home that we're going to build. This is the part of the process that moves at the pace at which the customer determines. So what we mean by that is we can draw a home plan and come and put together the specifications and get everything priced and have everything prepared for you in a matter of probably as little as a few days. But most home builders or potential customers are not prepared to move at that speed, and we don't blame them. It takes some time to digest all this information and collect the information and be comfortable with where it's going. So in the design process, we physically draw the plans, we discuss the specifications, we look at the details, the aesthetics, the mechanicals, everything about the house that you want to know. And we make sure that that is all captured in the plans and in the specifications. And once we have all of those details and everybody is comfortable with them, we then move on to pricing the plans as per the specifications and conversations that we've had. The next phase, which would be the contract phase, which theoretically takes, again, perhaps as little as a few days, but could be a couple of weeks back and forth. Depends on how quickly the homeowners are prepared to move along, and if they have all of their financing arranged, and if they have any further questions, or if we perhaps have to revisit any of the pricing or make any adjustments. The contract phase of the process is quite simply a matter of sharing documents back and forth, making sure that everything is captured in those documents, answering any questions that the customers may have, and then ultimately signing your agreement and moving forward. At that point, once the contract is signed and everybody's happy and we're moving ahead, we move on to starting the project. And the project starts at the permitting stage. So this is where we have your everything is in order, and my staff now gets involved, and we apply for building permits. And once we have these building permits in hand, we'll start construction. After the permitting stage, we move on to the most exciting stage of the whole process, which is the construction stage. This is everything from day one when we put shovels in the ground or start cutting trees to the absolute completion of the home. It's ready, everything's finished, the cleaners have been in and out, we are ready to move in. The construction stage, of course, is the longest period of time. It could range anywhere from perhaps 8 to 12 months, depending on the complexity of the build, the size of the home. After the home is built, we reach the completion stage, or it's often referred to as closing. This is where we physically will hand over the keys and answer any questions about how the mechanical systems work, just general questions on the functionality of the home as well. We want the final closing walkthrough and the final stage of handing over your keys to be as enjoyable as possible. This is your home. We've built it the way you wanted it. It should look exactly like what you want. And we want you to be happy with it and comfortable with it and know how to live in it. The final stage for us of the overall process happens after you've moved in, you've taken possession of the home. And this is the warranty stage of the home. Stonewater Homes warranties all of our homes with the Atlantic Home Warranty Program. Your home warranty is essentially it sort of comes in two parts. The first part is a 1-year builder warranty, and then years 2 through 10 on a 10-year home warranty, what is referred to as major structural defect. These are the things that, quite frankly, don't really ever happen. Knock on wood, it never happens. We haven't had a major structural defect claim in 19 years, and we hope to never have any, but it is a warranty that exists for the protection of both the builder and the customer, quite frankly. This is the process as a custom home builder, and specifically, this is Stonewater Homes' custom home process. Even on a home that we've built as a speculative home, or a spec home as it's called, the last two steps are the same. The closing walkthrough or the closing process and the warranty process. That doesn't change whether it's a custom build or a spec build. For anyone that's interested in learning more or having a more in-depth conversation regarding Stonewater Homes and our process, we would encourage you to contact our office via email or phone, and we will be happy to arrange a conversation and ideally a meeting in person if you're interested. And we will go through this in much greater depth and be sure to answer any questions that you have.